thing. Okay. Hi guys, welcome to bekibtarot. My name is Becky. I'm a spiritual advisor, clairvoyant and energy reader. So I'm just gonna quickly, before I head on out, do a energy tap in. Yeah, I hope everybody's weekend's been okay. I feel like there's some people that might be hungover today. I just get that feeling. Yeah, was really grateful last night. I follow hi Sam. Hey, it's my lovely neighbour. Yeah, I was really grateful last night. There's a lady called Renee's Tarot, who I follow, and she did me a shout out last night, and I was really like, oh my god, because you can't comment on any of her videos, she turns comments off, and yeah, so I was actually like taken back by that. So really grateful for her for giving me a shout out. Yeah, so I'm going to quickly do an energy tap in for this morning. So let's give it another sage. I've already saged, but let's do some more sage and see what the vibe is for today. If you don't have sage in your houses, really, guys, invest in something to cleanse your home in. It feels like, the energy feels like there's someone here who, they were a bit lost in the past, but they're not lost anymore, but they're almost, it's like, they're almost convincing themselves that they're lost still, because they're not really sure what to do with themselves, because they only know how to be lost. But now that they're out of it and they're not, it's like, oh, like they're already out of the cage, but they kind of don't know how to be free. It's like, got the energy of, you know, someone if they served like 30, 40 years in prison and then they came out and they were like, I don't know what to do with myself, because they're not in the prison anymore, but they don't know how to function, like not in prison. Yeah, it's got that energy. Okay. So we have the energy of empathy, service, purpose, growth, peace, relationships. This feels like an energy where someone's learned a lot about themselves, a lot about egos and how to put their ego down, but still being balanced and in true self, like in ownership of true self and having self-worth, but being able to kind of put the ego down. I feel whoever this is resonating for, they've learned how to have empathy for people that hurt them. That's how it feels. Like, I can see you're just in your shadows, and I accept that it's nothing to do with me and everything to do with them. So we have the growth, and the purpose of this relationship and connection was this lesson of growth. Yeah, it's taken you great strength. We've got courage and surrender. It's taken this person great strength to break free from their ego, their box, whatever like their old mindset was, and yeah, it took a lot for them to break free and kind of clear the path, clear a like more peaceful path, and it took real strength and courage to do this, to kind of break free from the old and break free from that like egotistical box. And now what this person is going to find with going forward, they know how to create peace kind of in relationships, certainly from themselves, on their side of things. Yeah, pride here, I've cut the deck, happiness and pride. So it's about just, not being in your pride and just being happy and okay with, just being happy. Like, happy, not confined to the ego. It doesn't matter what other people think, it doesn't matter what other people say. Like, I am sitting in the vibration of love. And I know that if I kind of, from my side, have expectations from other people, then that's my ego. I don't want to have expectations when I go into relationships, friendships, partnerships. I should just kind of move through and allow the flow of life to kind of come in, give me my lessons. If people come and go, that's fine. And yeah, working on the self. This person's worked on their self-esteem. Like, before, if they felt rejection, it was like, oh, there's something wrong with me. But they've kind of grown past that, as in, oh, okay, well, I acknowledge that there's a lesson here, or there's something I need to see here, and then I allow it to free flow out of my life, or me to move away from it. It's that kind of like intertwined connections, like of the vibration, like learning how to balance oneself, and yeah, like not get caught up in the bullshit. Having a higher viewpoint. Soulmate. This was a strong soulmate. I feel this is a connection with someone that you guys are like not in communication, or you've broken up. Yeah, and I think you put this person on a pedestal only to fucking find out that that was a bad idea. And now you're slowly working through and coming out of that energy. Like, I think you had them on a pedestal, then there were some issues, and then maybe now you're in no communication or whatever you've been healing. And now you're like recognising, like, okay, I was in my ego there, I probably shouldn't have acted that way. Maybe in future I will just kind of make sure I stay grounded and act this way. Yeah, healing. Just pure healing. Lessons of back and forth, egos, bullshit opinions. Just allowing yourself to push forward and accepting the growth. Yeah, I feel you've been at a crossroads back and forth in this. I do feel like you're not speaking to this person, and there's been so many lessons here, but I feel one or both of you there was certainly one or two lessons that were being numbed, like people just didn't want to acknowledge. So it's like, say if one person betrayed them and there was loads of issues and it got toxic, you cannot, I'm not saying it's okay, like someone betrayed you and that's fine, but if you kind of don't kind of handle it the right manner and communicate and kind of work through shit in the correct way, it can turn extremely toxic. And then if you were just allowing this person back and forth, in and out, and toxicity, you have to take a bit of, like, you have to take on the responsibility that you had played a part. Like, if it got really toxic and there was things back and forth, like, you played a part, but you've learned. But you definitely played a part. And I think before you might have been stuck in your pain, like, this person did so much to me. But you're realising, yes, this person did these things to me. Do you know what? I played my part in the non-communication and creating distance and not speaking up for what my needs were at the time. Maybe if I had, things wouldn't have gone this way. You know, you're really just accepting the responsibility for your part, which is really good. I do feel like there's going to be communication. Yeah, there's been none. You've both been mirroring each other and focusing on your stabilities, material world, jobs, money, you know the deal, whilst you kind of numbed your own feelings for each other. I feel like the masculine energy here has been kind of keeping themselves at a crossroads and just settling, being like, I'm just going to stay here. I'm just going to stay here where it's easy to avoid, easy to just stay in my head about the connection rather than be expressive, yeah. And they just kind of, what's that one then? Where'd that go? So interesting, there's regrets here. For some of you, someone might have said no. The person that actually did the betraying may have been like, said no and walked away. And that kind of broke, well, it broke everybody's heart in that dynamic, because the person that had been betrayed wasn't fully walking, was still invested. So this person was like, what the fuck, you betrayed me and then you left me? What? I was left here, like, trying. But I feel like finally the energy of that, like, sitting in the pain and stuff is being released. Like I said, taking responsibility for their side of things. And I do feel like the masculine energy here, or whoever betrayed and then walked in an aggressive manner, definitely has deep regrets, definitely is holding on to nostalgia, wants to return, but they are still living in deception for themselves. Like, I think this person's really deceived himself on what really happened here. That's how the masculine energy feels. There may have been third parties involved, but I feel like if there was third parties involved, there certainly wasn't like one person that they were cheating with. It feels like third parties, like different people talking, like just really spread of energy. Not so much like, oh, I just cheated on one person, I had a whole actual affair, an actual another commitment. It's like, oh, just getting attention of different people, doing different things. So this person's, the masculine energy feels like they're still in quite denial, in kind of what they did, whereas the feminine energy feels like they played like it's accepting responsibility for their part, like it's really healing and doing the work and staying devoted to themselves, whereas the masculine energy still deceiving themselves. The reason why they're still in denial is because they don't want to push and move forward. They find it, they're keeping themselves stuck in the same position because they don't want to take responsibility, they don't want to actually look at it, they don't want to face anything because they don't want to be pushed out of their comfort zone, so they feel comfortable by running, probably avoiding and just knowing themselves and being in denial about the scenario and what actually happened. Whereas the other energy, I feel more the feminine, but the other energy is like pushing forward, been healing, doing work, focus on themselves, making shit happen for them, like working through all their fears and everything that comes up regarding this connection, which is why they finally reached the healing point of being like, do you know what, I accept that it does take two, like, okay, I never betrayed them, but I should have spoke up a bit, I should have kind of enforced my boundaries and said this is where I'm at and stuck to my boundaries. So, big lessons. Yeah. Clarifying barrier. Observer. Divine feminine. There may be another energy that's separate, that is an energetic block. Not a full block, but I do get here that there may be someone that's linked to the masculine that's really jealous of the feminine and causes blockages on purpose. But I don't think they're massive blockages. They're just a bit of a barrier, as in like, they cause some energetic blockages. For some of you, it might be someone that's quite, maybe they have been in the masculine's ear and caused issues, but either way, this other third party is watching the feminine, and that's what's been causing barriers in some way, shape or form. Abandoned. So there might be, yeah, pride and ego, there might be someone else that the masculine abandoned in the past, and this person's been like obsessed with the feminine, even though technically the masculine kind of abandoned the feminine in the physical way, like they actually up and went, but they haven't abandoned the feminine in energetically, like they're still very much tied to that connection. But there's an external third party that feels like they were dropped by this masculine, abandoned, and they're very bitter. They're really angry and bitter and just dark energy, but mainly towards the feminine, even though the feminine is nothing to do with that. So it's mad projection when really they're bitter and angry at the masculine, but for somehow they're projecting that all over to the feminine. One more on that and then I'll see what I see. Yeah. So I think this connection is going to be brought back around certainly. There's certainly going to be some communication soon, I'd say over the next 2 months. I do feel like the feminine's going to handle this a lot better, a lot more grounded. I'm not sure how the masculine's going to be because I don't feel like the masculine's done much work. They're just stuck in denial. I do think it's going to be a shock to the masculine when he sees, he or she, masculine doesn't mean male, sees the growth in what this feminine energy has kind of done because of how this feminine's going to express themselves. It's going to be the right time, like it's going to be under divine timing that they're going to have this conversation. I just get like sat there and really just like wholeheartedly, just the feminine is owning her shit. Like she's just being vulnerable, expressing, but being true. There's definitely going to be a conversation over the next 2 months. Let's get these. And then there's definitely going to be a conversation. The masculine is really like upset. He's just, I don't know why, it's like, I wish he would just look, like, he's really fighting, having a good hard look at himself and this connection. Oh look, so we've got the sun, this is the feminine energy, in light, surrounded by water, you know, really in touch with their emotions, creative, look, it's a lovely card. Then you've got envy, which is that third party that's really envious of the light that this feminine chucks out. Woman holding a heart, heartbroken, I feel this is the masculine's energy down here. Or maybe it's like, you know, I said there was, this masculine may have like had other third parties, but not one set person. This may be just one of them third parties that's like angry because the masculine came in, said some shit, promised them some things, slept with them and then fucked off because they didn't really want anything from this person. This third party is just angry and blaming the feminine like, oh, it's you. The masculine is having real financial problems right now. And do you know why? It's because he's ignoring his emotions and feelings towards this feminine. And he's stuck in his ego and trying to be strategic. But it's how that blockage is kind of reverting, coming back around and hitting him via his finances. Because he's just stuck. Because there's a door that's open for him. And that's by going and talking to his feminine. There's a door that's opening to him. It doesn't have to be angry. It doesn't have to be this way. But this masculine keeps keeping it like hostile. Because if it calms down and isn't hostile, he has to kind of be in the moment, be in the feelings. And he's doing everything he can to not feel. Everything he can. So I bet it's but this divine feminine is really protected, like, and this divine feminine is probably doing really well financially, or about to do really well, because she's taking high action towards her stability and finances and jobs and that, and the masculine is just stuck, yeah, in anxiety, like in his ego. He is focused on money and materials, but in the wrong way. It's never gonna, because he's in his ego, it's not going to kind of come through and grow. Whereas the feminine's in very much a better energy of like learning lessons, working with the divine to grow her finances and stability. And then there's this little third party that's just like envious of the feminine and the masculine. It's just bitter, angry. Feels just angry that someone walked away from them. Because I feel like this masculine may have like... it's not great, but the masculine may have used them for some kind of money or somewhere to stay, like something stable, like a foundation. Yeah, I think this other energy, this third party energy was like, oh, if I just like give this masculine somewhere to stay, make sure I feed him, make sure I do this, like he'll obviously just want to be here. But this masculine's feminine walked away and was like, I'm not fucking having this, fine. And then obviously the masculine kind of hasn't gone running after her, but has abandoned this third party because he wasn't really interested. Like, as bad as awful it is, he was just using that third party for the moment. But this masculine deep down knows that he really is in love with his feminine and wants to kind of push forward or wants to have a conversation, but is kind of numbing at the moment. And this third party is angry about it because the third party got dropped. But is somehow blaming the feminine, which is just someone that really needs to do work. Right, let me see what I see. Yeah, like this third party's like, oh, I hate her. Just talking dirt about a third party, talking dirt about a feminine that they've never met, they don't know. The only bits that they know is what the masculine has told them, but has been like half lies. Hasn't done anything to them. It's like somehow blaming the feminine. But the feminine's not even actually talking or like involved with the masculine. The feminine's growing. The masculine's the one that's stuck because he's not pushing forward and coming being honest with his feminine or expressing himself. He's just stuck, like, I don't want to face myself, I'm just going to keep working, but he's never going to catch up and get money. He's probably going to get debts coming through the post, like just things like, I don't know, crashes, and then has to pay out insurance and things and this, because his energy is completely stuck and he's ignoring his intuition and in denial. So everything in his life is just going to reach a stagnation, especially his money and his foundation, until he faces his emotions and goes and fucking has a chat with the feminine over here, which is going to happen. This masculine is batting away the third party constantly, so I do think eventually this third party will have to just give up, but will have to learn a lesson via some other route. This is not the way to kind of handle yourself, where have the self-respect to accept the fact that clearly this masculine wasn't very nice to you and used you, but let him be, like. Yeah, like, I don't even think it was very long. I feel like this masculine wasn't like around, like certainly no longer than a month, like from start to finish, and not talking to this. So I don't know. This feminine's got the third party feminine's got real work that needs to be done, like shadow work. So conversation's gonna happen. The masculine is upset, like a bit cowardly, but the feminine's on a different vibration now. Doesn't need to shout. It's just like open, honest, vulnerable, expresses their concerns, and I think they decide to kind of go away and heal, and then it's like maybe we'll come back around later. Like there's some kind of like, you're not in a position, why don't you go away, sort out your foundation and things like, and maybe we'll talk like in a couple of months. Like they have this agreement of maybe they'll come back around in a couple of months and see kind of where everybody's at and kind of go from there. But they just want to like clear the, like completely just clear the old cycles, the old energy. They want to heal. So it's like, let's just carry on staying apart, no talk for 2 months, and then let's come back around and see how we feel then. So that's really good. That's grounding and healing, accepting, you know, I need some distance, but yeah, it will be a very valid conversation that people will come away feeling slightly upset, but a lot better, and ready to kind of focus on them, understand where the connection is, and then they can kind of heal, and then they'll come back around in a few months' time. So obviously I'll just tap into that energy maybe in a few months' time to see, because I can't say for everyone how that's going to go. But other than, yes, so the feminine is doing pretty good. It's been a struggle, but she's doing pretty good. The masculine obviously has been fucking around with third parties, but is now at a stagnant energy, and it's going to continue to affect himself until he kind of comes through and they have this conversation. But like I said, good morning, hey, thank you so much for your shout out. I really appreciate that. I was actually really shocked, so thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I did at the beginning of the live say like, oh, thank you to Renee. I was really grateful. Yeah, so it's just with this masculine and feminine energy, it's very much an energy of the masculine is stagnant at the moment and is in that denial, but is soon to kind of push forward for this conversation. Yeah, thank you so much, Renee. Yeah, I feel like he's still in denial, he or she. It's only masculine energy, it's not male. And there definitely will be this conversation that will happen over the next couple of months, and they both will kind of agree, let's kind of do some healing. And they will definitely pull apart for a little while and then come back around to kind of see where they're at. So I generally feel like this is quite a settled, grounded energy, but like this connection is quite sturdy and grounded, but only because the feminine is really leading this kind of energy. But yeah, it feels good and strong, even though this masculine is quite upset and been denial. It actually feels like in the future it will stabilize, even if these two don't end up together. If they have children, they will probably end up co-parenting quite well, or if not, they'll probably stay kind of distant friends and maybe check in here and there. But it's heading towards quite a strong, stable connection, believe it or not. And I feel there was lessons all round, like I said at the beginning, lessons for the feminine with her ego and taking on responsibility, even though someone betrayed them, you know, allowing it to get toxic. The masculine had deep wounds and things and shadow work, and lessons that came from this regarding, you know, being in denial, kidding themselves, running away. And then obviously this third party, karmic, whatever third party's definitely got a big lesson to learn in their projecting their anger and feeling like rejection is nothing to do with you as a person, it's to do with the other one. If someone rejects you, that's completely fine, it's them, and you don't, you know, like if you were giving, maybe you were too giving, and it's a lesson to help you to reflect. So I do feel lots of lessons in this dynamic, but I'm sure we'll pick it up again in a couple of months, this energy, and we'll see where they're headed to. But yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of the energy tapping for today. I do have private readings booked in for later, but I will try my best to get back on. Renee, if you're still here, truly grateful for you and your shout outs. I watch all your videos, sending so much love. Anyone else that catches this, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow, and it helps my energies to connect with you, so more of my videos will resonate. If you're interested in a private reading, info is in the box down below. And in the meantime, guys, I send you so much love and light. Bye.